Let's talk about reputation today. I'd like to talk beyond just do you have a reputation, but how do you build and enhance your reputation? Now, we all have a reputation, whether we're aware of it or not, but how we can enhance it and build on it really determines on what we do. So I want to talk a little bit about whether you're an entrepreneur, you're running your own business, whether you're managing a company or a team, or even if you're looking for work. Your reputation will have a big influence not only on what you get in terms of opportunities that you're pursuing now, but more importantly, what you will continue to get in the future, because your reputation, of course, is focused on the past, right? We earn it on a daily basis based on what we do as we move into the future. Let me dig into this a little bit for you to help you give some context. There's about 5 points I want to lay out for you that I think will help give you some great perspective on what building a reputation is really all about. So the first one is do more than expected. You know, a lot you hear that, but do you do it, right? There is giving the client what they expect and then some. So what is and then some? It may be an additional product, it might be a second cup of coffee, it could be something tangible, but I think probably what's going to be more memorable is you giving them more than what they expected from a relationship point of view, right? Because you can give them something and there's some stuff, but when you give of yourself, you're giving something that is intrinsically you. It might be your knowledge, it might be something that builds a relationship, but you know, the thing is really, it should be focused on you, so give of yourself. The second point is deliver on your promises. We all have got people that we know that when they say, oh, I'll give you a call, or I'll do this by, fill in the name of or the date of the week, you go, yeah, okay, sure, we'll see if that happens or not. And when it does, we're pleasantly surprised, but we go like, gee, what happened, right? Why did they actually deliver? That's not the kind of reputation you want. If you're going to promise to do something, it's really important to keep your word. And if you can't, because stuff happens along the way for all of us, it's up to you to let that person know. So whether it's a text, it's an email or a phone call, or just pop over to their office and say, hey, by the way, Bill, you know, I said I'd get it done for you by this afternoon. Here's what happened, I can't, right? And people, for the most part, unless this is a regular occurrence, they'll cut you some slack. And if the reason is valid and you don't ask this all the time, you know, your reputation should not be damaged by this. All right, let's go on to the next one. Helping others succeed. So many people are in it for themselves, right? And when you look at a lot of social media, people's profiles, it's all about me, 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 look at me, me, me. Well, that's great. If you're really interesting, okay, I'll maybe give you a few seconds, maybe a few minutes of my time. But when I get really interested is when you start talking about how you're going to help me. So whether you're doing this virtually, but really when it comes face-to-face and personal relationships, what are you doing to help other people? You may have seen the movie or heard of the concept, Pay It Forward. I love this because how you build your reputation is by helping others succeed. Not just because you're going to get something out of it, but because you're going to help them. And the best way to be remembered and build a positive relationship and reputation is by doing things for others without expecting anything in return. And realize here, if you're a follower, if you've worked with me, you know I talk about the law of reciprocity. But just come back to that, because if you do things for the right reasons, you will get paid back. You don't know when, where, or how, but the way that the universe works and the way that good people treat each other is that they always try to reciprocate because it's the right thing to do. Okay, let's go on to being likable and respected. This is important, and I'm going to just give a quick example of this analogy, or of this story. I had lunch with a client a couple of months ago, and we were talking about how do we get work and then how do we keep work. We both agreed that the important, first and foremost, the important thing is doing quality work. So unless you are delivering at least good to very good, and maybe sometimes you knock it out of the park, it's excellent, if you're at least in that range, your clients are happy. But here's where it gets really interesting. If you do consistently good work and they like you, which then leads to being respected, that's where you really cement the relationship. And that's where a relationship with a client, even personal relationships, quite frankly, tie into this. That's the cement that holds it together. So being likable after you've done good work leads to being respected. And then the last point I want to talk about is acting with integrity. Because what you say means nothing until you actually deliver on those promises or deliver on that statement. And if you think of it from this perspective, if you wouldn't buy it yourself, don't sell it. So what does that mean to integrity? Well, it simply means that you are not recommending, suggesting, or doing something for someone or suggesting they do something if you wouldn't do it yourself. Because that is contradictory, and the phrase that you may have heard is it's kind of talking out both sides of your mouth. One side says, yes, do it. The other side says, well, I wouldn't do it though. If you wouldn't do it, don't do it. Integrity is really the foundation and the bedrock of building a great reputation. So think about what I've said as it relates to your reputation, beyond your brand, and think of one or two of these items that you can apply. The other thing, if you like what you're seeing here today, please remember to either like us if you're viewing on LinkedIn, pardon me, or if you're on the watching us YouTube, subscribe and help get the word out. And hopefully you come back because there's more of these coming.